Fathers should be neither seen nor heard. That is the only proper basis for family life. One can survive everything, nowadays, except death, and live down everything except a good reputation. I suppose society is wonderfully delightful. To be in it is merely a bore. But to be out of it is simply a tragedy. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their intellects. A man cannot be too careful in the choice of his enemies. I have the simplest tastes. I am always satisfied with the best. Women love us for our defects. If we have enough of them, they will forgive us everything, even our gigantic intellects. No better way is there to learn to love nature than to understand art. It dignifies every flower of the field. And, the boy who sees the thing of beauty which a bird on the wing becomes when transferred to wood or canvas will probably not throw the customary stone. Technique is really personality. That is the reason why the artist cannot teach it, why the pupil cannot learn it, and why the aesthetic critic can understand it. One should always be in love. That is the reason one should never marry. Those whom the gods love grow young. One's real life is so often the life that one does not lead. If you pretend to be good, the world takes you very seriously. If you pretend to be bad, it doesn't. Such is the astounding stupidity of optimism. Deceiving others. That is what the world calls a romance. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. It is the spectator, and not life, that art really mirrors. All art is at once surface and symbol. Those who go beneath the surface do so at their peril. Those who read the symbol do so at their peril. Arguments are extremely vulgar, for everyone in good society holds exactly the same opinion. A poet can survive everything but a misprint. No great artist ever sees things as they really are. If he did, he would cease to be an artist. I think it is perfectly natural for any artist to admire intensely and love a young man. It is an incident in the life of almost every artist. I sometimes think that God in creating man somewhat overestimated his ability. Between men and women, there is no friendship possible. There is passion, enmity, worship, love, but no friendship. Art never harms itself by keeping aloof from the social problems of the day. Rather, by so doing, it more completely realizes for us that which we desire. There are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. Nothing, indeed, is more dangerous to the young artist than any conception of ideal beauty. He is constantly led by it either into weak prettiness or lifeless abstraction, whereas to touch the ideal at all, you must not strip it of vitality. In married life, 3 is company and 2 none. When good Americans die they go to Paris. All art is quite useless. Men always want to be a woman's first love, women like to be a man's last romance. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train. A man's face is his autobiography. A woman's face is her work of fiction. Every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist, not of the sitter. It is only by not paying one's bills that one can hope to live in the memory of the commercial classes. I see when men love women, they give them but a little of their lives. But women, when they love, give everything. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. In designing the scenery and costumes for any of Shakespeare's plays, the first thing the artist has to settle is the best date for the drama. This should be determined by the general spirit of the play more than by any actual historical references which may occur in it. The critic has to educate the public, the artist has to educate the critic. The world has grown suspicious of anything that looks like a happily married life. Art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. I put all my genius into my life, I put only my talent into my works. Biography lends to death a new terror. Women are never disarmed by compliments. Men always are. That is the difference between the sexes. Always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. The function of the artist is to invent, not to chronicle. The good ended happily, and the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means. I regard the theater as the greatest of all art forms, the most immediate way in which a human being can share with another the sense of what it is to be a human being. Now that the House of Commons is trying to become useful, it does a great deal of harm. The only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on. It is never of any use to oneself. No woman should ever be quite accurate about her age. It looks so calculating. A critic should be taught to criticize a work of art without making any reference to the personality of the author. Women are made to be loved, not understood. Romance should never begin with sentiment. It should begin with science and end with a settlement. The imagination imitates. It is the critical spirit that creates. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people whom we personally dislike. I always pass on good advice. It is the only thing to do with it. It is never of any use to oneself. A man can be happy with any woman, as long as he does not love her. There should be a law that no ordinary newspaper should be allowed to write about art. The harm they do by their foolish and random writing it would be impossible to overestimate, not to the artist, but to the public, blinding them to all but harming the artist not at all. If a work of art is rich and vital and complete, those who have artistic instincts will see its beauty, and those to whom ethics appeal more strongly than aesthetics will see its moral lesson. It will fill the cowardly with terror, and the unclean will see in it their own shame. Who being loved, is poor. Hatred is blind, as well as love. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. There is something terribly morbid in the modern sympathy with pain. One should sympathize with the color, the beauty, the joy of life. The less said about life's sores the better. If there was less sympathy in the world, there would be less trouble in the world. It is better to be beautiful than to be good. But it is better to be good than to be ugly. Life imitates art far more than art imitates life. It is only an auctioneer who can equally and impartially admire all schools of art. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. All bad poetry springs from genuine feeling. The mark of all good art is not that the thing done is done exactly or finely, for machinery may do as much, but that it is worked out with the head and the workman's heart. If you are not too long, I will wait here for you all my life. Death and vulgarity are the only two facts in the 19th century that one cannot explain away. When a man has once loved a woman, he will do anything for her except continue to love her. A work of art is the unique result of a unique temperament. There is only one thing in life worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. The moment you think you understand a great work of art, it's dead for you. Perhaps one of the most difficult things for us to do is to choose a notable and joyous dress for men. There would be more joy in life if we were to accustom ourselves to use all the beautiful colors we can in fashioning our own clothes. Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is far the best ending for one. What we have to do, what at any rate it is our duty to do, is to revive the old art of lying. There is always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has ceased to love. Success is a science. If you have the conditions, you get the result. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his. Art is individualism, and individualism is a disturbing and disintegrating force. If one could only teach the English how to talk, and the Irish how to listen, society here would be quite civilized. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Ambition is the last refuge of the failure. Art should never try to be popular. The public should try to make itself artistic. Bad people are, from the point of view of art, fascinating studies. They represent color, variety, and strangeness. Good people exasperate one's reason, bad people stir one's imagination. The one charm about marriage is that it makes a life of deception absolutely necessary for both parties. In modern life, nothing produces such an effect as a good platitude. It makes the whole world kin. When I was young I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I am old I know that it is. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. He has no enemies, but is intensely disliked by his friends. How can a woman be expected to be happy with a man who insists on treating her as if she were a perfectly normal human being? It is through art, and through art only, that we can realize our perfection. If one plays good music, people don't listen, and if one plays bad music, people don't talk. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. As long as war is regarded as wicked, it will always have its fascination. When it is looked upon as vulgar, it will cease to be popular. Anybody can be good in the country. There are no temptations there. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Thanks for watching. If you like this videos, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment.